all the content coming to Battlefield 4 this year, I have to admit, I've hardly touched Hardline for the past month or so. It's amazing just how much content is still coming our way for a game that was released towards the end of 2013. But anyway, first of all, CTE On Console has been a topic of discussion for quite a long time. A lot of console players have been waiting for its arrival, and that day seems to be coming up very soon. Well, at least for the Xbox One, a recent tweet from JJU, which as you can see here, displays the CTE client running on two Xbox Ones, which is really good news, and I imagine this will also mean that DICE-LA will have the proper permissions to deploy patches and whatnot to the console CTE client without going through the whole certification process, which is really the only way CTE on any platform is going to work out. But what about the PlayStation 4? Well, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't really seen too much information regarding if Sony are going to let it happen, but I imagine the PS4 will get it eventually. Hopefully sooner rather than later. We have maybe 2 or 3 major content patches left before extended support will end for Battlefield 4, so like I said, hopefully DICE-LA and Sony can sort it out ASAP. Apart from that, we have some very exciting news and possibly one of the biggest advancements for the franchise. We've finally broken the 30Hz tick rate on the servers. A combined effort with DICE-LA and the devs for Hardline have not only broken this boundary we all thought was never going to be broken, but they've taken it to the next level, putting it on par with competitive first-person shooter games like Counter-Strike. Over the past week or so, some of the CTE servers have been set to either 60 or 120 Hz. The footage you're watching in the background is on the 60Hz server, which felt extremely tight. But as for the 120Hz server, unfortunately the only one was in the EU region, and my ping was just way too damn high. There was no way I could actually feel the benefits of the 120Hz tick rate server while having such a high ping. But seeing as how tight the game was running at 60Hz, I imagine the 120Hz servers would have been amazing. You might be wondering to yourself though, this is all well and good, but when's it going to make it over to retail BF4? Unfortunately, I imagine this will never make it to the retail client. It seems like this is more or less just a proof of concept that it actually is possible in the Frostbite engine to run the game client and server at these higher rates, and that maybe we can expect these much higher rates in future Battlefield titles. Hopefully whatever is coming after Hardline will have this feature implemented. I imagine the main reasons why the high tick rate will most likely never come to retail BF4 is because having these servers run at the higher rates greatly increases the load. So that means they'll need more computing power, and thus that means it'll be more expensive to run. Also, even on the client side, the CPU usage is a little bit more higher. As we can see here, running retail BF4 at 30Hz compared to the CTE game running at 60Hz, if you look at the different thread usage, it's quite a bit higher on the CTE client. And of course, if the PC CPU usage is getting rather high on the average quad-core i7, I really don't think next generation consoles will have the hardware requirements, so that in itself is another reason why I really don't think we'll ever see the high tick rates come into the retail client. Also, I just want to touch on one subject. Like I said before, seeing as we have the highest server tick rates just as high as Counter-Strike, does that mean Battlefield can be seen as more of a competitive shooter? In my opinion, my answer is yes and also no. Having a higher tick rate is always a good thing for the competitive scene, but what lets it down is we unfortunately still have that goddamn fake reload glitch that's been the Frostbite engine for God knows how long now. Having that glitch still present in the game that can strike at any moment without any way of stopping it from happening simply ruins competitive play in my opinion. With Battlefront coming up towards the end of the year, and seeing as it's not going to be on the last generation consoles and that the graphics are looking pretty damn amazing, I'm guessing, does that mean we'll see Frostbite version 4 or 3.5? In that case, I sure do hope the fake reload glitch has been fixed. I know it might seem like a really small glitch in the game, but in my opinion, it's a real deal breaker for me when it comes to taking competitive play seriously in Battlefield 4. But as for other updates to CTE and soon for the retail client, we have the spring patch coming up very soon. I believe towards the end of this month, and what I'm going to do in my next video is briefly overview the major updates to what's coming. But as for the CTE client, we had a patch a couple of days ago that includes some rather cool improvements. There's been an improvement to the audio obstruction system, which I'll show off in just a second. Basically, this update adds a filter to sounds in the game if it detects an object is in between the source and destination. If player A fires a gun and player B standing, let's say 30 meters away behind a wall, the system will apply a filter to that sound. The purpose of this update is to boost the overall immersion of the game, which, like it says in the patch notes, it might just sound like a small update, but this can make a huge difference to being more immersed in the gameplay. And just to show you guys how this works, David Serlin, which is one of the DICE LA producers, made a really good video showing us this new system. Please excuse the quality, I'm not too sure why it's like this, but regardless, it's more about hearing the difference between the sounds. So as we can hear, like I said, once the system detects an object in between it will add a filter. But as for our new prototype, Squad Conquest is a new game mode for Battlefield 4. They'll focus on 5 vs 5 competitive play and can support vehicles. It sounds like there might be a matchmaking system, and I'm wondering if we may ever see a ranking system as well. Not too sure if that feature will ever be added, but I really do hope so. Squad Conquest will consist of 2 teams. There'll be 3 flags, but a 4th flag will be placed on the map that once captured spawns a neutral tank, which I think is a really good idea. It's perfect for competitive focused game modes. It adds another layer of decision making for each teams. At the moment it's still very early days, so it does have some issues, and once the server that's running this game mode is populated, I'll try to get some gameplay and go into more details in another video. There is a server running Squad Conquest at the moment with 120Hz tick rate, which I can't wait to get my hands on, but like I said, I haven't seen it fully populated just yet. But as it stands, it's looking good for Battlefield 4, really good actually. I'm extremely impressed with all the improvements DICE LA are making, not only to the game, but for the future of the franchise. Also, I just want to mention really quickly, I haven't been uploading that often lately. I have moved jobs in real life, so it's been a little bit hectic for me over the past couple of weeks. But once things settle down, it should go back to normal. But anyway guys, that's it for today's video. Make sure to let me know your thoughts about the CTE updates and if you're looking forward to CTE On Console. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.